we discussed about contracts. So we discussed about contracts in TypeScript. We discussed about the contracts in TypeScript, and the basic points what we learned about the contracts in TypeScript. So contracts are nothing but interface. So how to design the contracts, and we learned about optional members in contracts, how to define optional members in contracts, and we learned about how to extend contracts, how we can extend contracts. So we discussed about how it supports multiple and multi-level. So multi-level extensions, multiple and multi-level extensions, how we can extend the contracts. We discussed about that. Next, after understanding the multiple and multi-level extensions, means how to extend the contracts. Now, one more important point we need to learn about these contracts. Actually, one more option that we need to discuss here is read-only members. Read-only members in a contract. Read-only members in a contract. So what are the read-only members and how do we handle them? Actually, the concept about read-only is nothing but technically every member that you can define by default, every member in a contract can be redefined with value, with the new value, can be redefined with new value any number of times. Every member in a contract can be redefined with the new value any number of times. That means after declaring a member inside the contract, you can redefine any number of times, right? So the members in a contract have that ability. For example, suppose, see, I am writing here a simple contract. Let's open in Explorer, command prompt, CMD. Okay. Now let's take a look here in the contract. I am writing interface. So I am creating a contract I product. In this contract, we are having name. It is a string type. Okay. Price. It is number type. I am implementing this LET TV is implementing this I product. That means it should implement both the members name. So I defined a value that is TV. Okay. And the price, I defined some value. Okay. Now this is fine. The object is configured perfectly and everything is fine here. Now what we are doing is we are printing console.log So I want to print name is equal to dollar TV dot name. Okay. In the next line, price is equal to dollar TV dot price. Right. These are the options we configured. Okay. After configuring these options, so after defining and configuring these options, now important is by default it will print those values. So I said tsc demo.ts and node demo.js, and it is printing those values. Fine, name and price values are printed here. Okay. Next, here, once we defined a value into that name property, I am redefining it again. We will access TV is an object dot name, and I will redefine the value here, Samsung TV. So is it possible to redefine the value? That means we are redefining the values. So that is a name as Samsung TV. We are redefining the value. Is it possible to redefine the values for the members that you already defined a value? So that means the contract member is name. Into that you assigned a value. After assigning value, can you redefine that value? So the answer is yes. By default, it is possible. That means by default, every member in a contract can be redefined with new value any number of times. So that means now I will copy that and I will paste this example. And in this example, this line that is tv.name, it is valid. By default, it is valid. Then obviously you can see that when I compile and run this, you can see the node and the name is changed to Samsung TV. So every member can be redefined any number of times. For example, after this again, I am defining TV.name is equal to LG TV. Like this I have configured. And the last assigned value will be applied there, and I will compile and run it again. You can see now the name will be LG TV. It is configured there. So you can redefine the value any number of times, right? So in order to prevent this, right, what you can do is you can prevent defining of values for any member in a contract. You can prevent redefining of values for any member, redefining of values or functions, redefine definitions. Function have definition, right? So you can prevent redefining of values or definition for any member in a contract by marking it with read only, read only. That means if any member is marked with read only, then after assigning a value, that means after implementing a value, it will not allow to redefine the value. After implementing the value, it will not allow to redefine the value. So it will not allow to redefine the value. That is important, especially when you are working with interfaces. So let's take a look about that. That means we will go here. I can redefine